Hello, world. Man, the internet is on fire right now. People's heads are exploding with this icon versus snap-on wrench debate, um, and the whole thing is kind of silly to me. This video is just kind of my 2 cents about the situation and what's going on. So, first thing, we got to think about why now? Why all of a sudden are we talking about these Harbor Freight anti-slip wrenches? They've been out for years now at this point, right? So why now all of a sudden are they getting all this hype? This viral video comes out of them, beating Snap-on in the Snap-on test, and oddly enough, they throw one of the best sales that I've seen for the wrenches. They throw one of the best sales for them, where they were like $69 if you had, I think if you had an Insider Track membership. It just kind of leads to a lot of questions, right? Like, why all of a sudden is this getting so much hype on the internet right before they throw this special sale? And what am I getting at? I'm getting at, it smells a little fishy, guys. It smells like a little bit of marketeering at work, if you know what I'm saying. I you know I don't know what's going on behind the curtain, but if you just look at it from the big picture, it's a little odd, right? Like, these wrenches have been out for a long time. Why all of a sudden is there hype? All this hype on the internet, all this talk about them. This video kind of just blew up, and for Harbor Freight seemed like a pretty good deal. I'm not going to be honest, but it's also the timing of everything. It's very coincidental. Like, is there something behind it? I don't know, but this is kind of happens a lot with Harbor Freight and their products. There's a lot of things really catch on social media when they come out, and it's just a little fishy. That's all I'm saying. Harbor Freight definitely has a huge social media influence. How are they influencing, quote unquote, influencers? I don't know. Don't tell, I don't know. They're not influencing me. I'm damn sure my channel's too small. I don't make a dime. But I can tell you, it is fishy. That's all I'm saying. So let's get into it. I'm not loyal to Harbor Freight or Snap-on, to be clear. I don't own Snap-on wrenches. I don't own them. I don't own I don't own Snap-on wrenches. I think Snap-on wrenches are overpriced. To be honest with you, way overpriced. You can, God, like a basic set of Snap-on wrenches is like $600 or something, right? Like, it's insane, absolutely insane. I'm not saying Snap-on wrenches aren't bad. They are good quality wrenches, but they're very expensive. But so are the Mac knuckle saver wrenches as well. So they're just I don't know. The tool truck wrenches are insane. And when we talk about the Harbor Freight wrenches, well, like, at their normal price, they weren't like bad price, but they weren't a great price. I mean, Carlisle has been selling the same wrenches for around the same price, especially on sales, around the same price as the Harbor Freight stuff. And these channel locks, which I have here, are exactly the same as the Icon anti-slip wrenches. And these channel locks have been out way before Icon ever came out. This wrench from Icon, this is not Icon, but it's exactly the same, is not from Icon. Harbor Freight doesn't make anything. They don't make a single thing. They don't design, engineer, nothing. Harbor Freight buys from what they call, white label distributors who make products, and you can put your label on it. That's what Harbor Freight does. And it seems like lately too, what they've been going at is they basically go to their factories and they're like, hey, here's this great tool, can you copy it? And they're just copying Snap-on and Knipex and all these other brands, like, with no shame at all. They're just like straight up doing blatant copies of the tool. I mean, in the tool industry, don't get me wrong, is copies of copies, but at least usually companies try to do their own spin or design take on a good design. They don't just straight up copy it, which is what Harbor Freight does. They don't care. They don't care. It's like the kid who, like, do you want to get the doctor that cheated on all his math tests? I don't know, man. No, math test probably not the best analogy, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's crazy. But look, let's talk about these channel locks. These have been out way before Harbor Freight had them. Carlisle's also been selling these wrenches before Harbor Freight had them. They're made by Infar. You can tell because they all have the same anti-slip grip right here. Okay, it's always the same. Yeah, and I'll throw up some pictures of them from the internet of all the different wrenches. So who else? The Channel Lock brand has been sold. You can buy them through Do It Best, which is like a small. It's kind of like your Ace Hardware. Like they have independent, they have shops that are kind of linked up and attached with them that sell their products. They're usually like more rural, but the ones close to me are as close as my nearest Harbor Freight, and I can get the channel locks from them. Also, you can order individual sizes, so you can really size this out if you want. And if one goes missing or something, you can get a replacement because they sell the individual sizes, which is another plus. Also, you can buy them online. There's ways to buy them online from Do It Your Best, and there's also other vendors that do sell these as well. And you can go up in sizes, buy the larger size. So all in all, it's really not a bad deal for these channel locks. And these came out way before Harbor Freight had them. They're all made by Infar, like I said. Milwaukee's are also made by Infar. Yeah, Milwaukee is just paying to have a different beam. But, as far as like the beam style, I'm pretty sure the Channel Lock, Carlisle, Icon, they're all basically identical. The beam, the only standout is Milwaukee, and I hate Milwaukee's beam personally. I just think it's too large and gets in the way. So that's my take. But the point is, these wrenches have been out. This anti-slip design has been out for ages, and all of a sudden this hype comes out. It's kind of weird, man. The Snap-on wrenches are overpriced, but these are being overhyped right now. A little fishy. And then nylon. I mean, what is up with doing a nylon test? Like, I understand that that's Snap-on's test. It's a terrible test in general. You are, unless you're wrenching on nylon all day, which if you are, you shouldn't even be using like an anti-slip wrench anyways. Like, it's nylon. Like, it bends and breaks like so easily. Like, this doesn't make sense at all, really. When you break it down, the nylon test is completely useless, which kind of leads to my last point on this. This subject has been beaten to death, okay? This isn't something new. There's been many channels out there that have reviewed the wrenches. They've reviewed, your Milwaukee, your Icon, and they compared them against Snap-on real fasteners, real bolts, and Snap-on wins, okay? If you want a great reference point, not that I'm affiliated with them or anything, but, I think Torx's channel has its own issues, but yeah, they did a great video on this, and I think, it kind of just, it's hard to dispute what they said, or what they showed. The Icon is not as good as a Snap-on, but that leads to the other point. You want a better wrench than Snap-on that's made in the USA? Get Wright Grip 2.0. It's been done to death, too, that Wright Grip is better than Snap-on, and Snap-on is better than Icon, and Wright Grip is half the price of Snap-on, or even less than half the price. You can buy like a full set of metric Wrights. Talking from like, I don't know, 6, 7, something like that, all the way up to 24 for like half the price of Snap-on's cheapest metric set, which it doesn't even cover which is like an 8 or 10 piece or something. They're not equivocal at all. Wright Grip all day. If you want, made in USA, terrific wrench, best anti-slip. Actually, if you pay, watch Torx's channel, according to them, these, I have the USOG or USAG version of it. Mac Tools has their own. The RBT wrenches, they supposedly have the best grip of all the wrenches, and they're made in Taiwan. I own them. I don't use them. Why? Well, because they're very aggressive, and they're also 6-point, and that leads to kind of like the final point. Like, okay, the thing about Icon wrenches, I'm not saying they're bad. Not at all. I basically own them. I own them as the Channel Lock brand, but I own the wrench. And it is a good wrench. And I can tell you, though, from use that it has its flaws. And one of those flaws is these teeth are actually very aggressive. And they will mar up a fastener very easily. Very easily. And the Snap-on teeth, and also Wright as well, their teeth are less aggressive than these Infar wrenches. These Infar wrenches just have way more teeth on them. So what ends up happening is they mar up a fastener more when you are loosening or breaking it free. And like at the end of the day, honestly, it's nice to have the teeth when something's stuck that you just cannot remove, but you also don't want to you don't want to mar up every fastener you touch, and you do really have to be careful with these style wrenches, especially these versions of them, because they will mar up fasteners. Why don't you want to mar up fasteners? Well, what if you have to, you repeatedly mar up a nut or a bolt? Eventually that bolt is just become completely stripped out, right? You use this on something like a brake, a brake bleeder bolt, and you strip it out. I mean, that's a bad day. Stripping out a brake bleeder nut, that's a real bad time. And then same with like just anything in general. Like these, I actually don't recommend anti-slip unless you're careful, got a delicate hand, because you really can't mess things up with them. And I think it's better for most people to use like a regular non-slip wrench, non-grip, anti-slip wrench, and use the anti-slips when you need them for emergency situations. That's my honest opinion about what's best and all that. But, if you are going to have an anti-slip, the advantages to something like Snap-on or Wright tools is that they don't strip the heads out as bad. And that's a really big con to these Infar ones. You can really damage stuff really easy with these, but yeah, they're a good price, they're a good value, they're a good wrench. And I mean, that's the truth. But they've been out way before Harbor Freight and Icon and all that, and the nylon test is bullcrap anyways. And I really question why this thing went viral so coincidentally around a sale. It kind of smells. That's all my point is. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the channel locks if you're interested. Like I said, they have some advantages over Icon that you can buy them individually, and you can piece out your kit more if you want. So yeah, check them out if you're interested. So thanks guys. Have a good one.